Hey everybody, my name's Ben, we are the Beard Guys, and welcome to our top 12 tips that new players on PUBG console need to know. I've been playing PUBG since it first released and have thousands of games of experience and hundreds of chicken dinners, and with PUBG being free on PlayStation Plus this month, I wanted to drop some essential knowledge to help new players get started in this challenging but awesome game. If you have any questions about PUBG on console or any other great tips that you want to share, then leave them in the comments down below, or better yet, come and talk to me live on our stream on twitch.tv/thebeardguys, where we stream PUBG on console most weekdays. Now let's jump straight into the tips. Number 1, bots. PUBG console has AI bots in it. These came into the game relatively recently and are still having changes made to exactly how they work. What you will find is that for your first couple of dozen games, you'll likely have a very high number of bots in your matches, and then the more that you play and the better you get, the less and less bots you'll see. The minimum number of bots you'll get in a game is around 20% of the lobby, and with this amount, you'll often go through a whole game without encountering any at all. It's worth noting that bots will be used to fill up otherwise dead lobbies, so if you're playing in a quiet region or the middle of a night, or on one of the quieter queues that you wouldn't normally be able to get a game on, you will find that the lobby will get filled out with bots after you wait a while for real players to join. The bots are generally pretty bad, but can occasionally laser you, so don't get too complacent. Number 2, crossplay. PUBG on console has crossplay between Xbox, PS4 and Google Stadia. This means that players from all three of these platforms share the same lobbies and will be fighting against each other. You can see what platform your enemies are from by the icons in the kill feed in the top right of your screen. If you're playing on PS4, then PlayStation users are marked with a PlayStation logo, whilst Xbox and Stadia players are marked with a generic controller icon that looks a little bit like an Xbox controller. If you're on Xbox, then you'll see an Xbox logo for your own console players, and the PS4 and Stadia players will be marked with that generic controller icon. For those wondering, Google Stadia is an in-browser gaming system allowing you to play games via your web browser. It makes up a pretty small percentage of the players who play PUBG on console, and it's worth keeping in mind that people who use mouse and keyboard on Google Stadia will go into their own separate lobbies, so you won't be playing against mouse and keyboard players. Number 3, changing control type. One of the big things that a lot of new players in PUBG want to do is change their controls to allow holding down to aim down sights. By default, you'll have control type A set, which uses the trigger to toggle ADS on and off. If you want to change this control type to preset B, then you will see that you have hold to ADS, which will likely feel a lot more familiar to you. Getting all of your sensitivity settings set up can be quite tricky, so I'll put a link down below to a video of all my latest sensitivity settings, which you can try out whether you're on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. Number 4, headphones. In order to locate where enemies are, you really need to be wearing headphones to play PUBG. You need to hear footsteps, gunfire, car noises, and you need to be able to know the direction of those sounds. You're really going to struggle to stay alive if you're not using headphones to play PUBG. Number 5, the training room. The training room mode allows you to do all sorts of cool things and is a great place to test out guns and attachments, as well as adjusting your sensitivity settings. In the training room, you'll find all the guns in the game are available to use, as well as all the attachments, throwables, vehicles, and even parachute training. It's definitely worth spending a little time there before you play, just to get used to some of the very basics. Number 6, Team Deathmatch. Another great way to practice your shooting skills outside of the unforgiving arena of Battle Royale is to use the TDM mode found in the arcade section. This allows you to play in 8 vs 8 battles using a variety of different preset loadouts that you can select via the map button. You respawn when you die, so it's a great way of getting a load of combat experience without having to go through the process of finding a new normal game, parachuting in, looting, and then finding a fight. I can't recommend this enough, as it will help you be more comfortable when you do get into a normal fight and keeping your cool in a fight goes a long way to keeping you alive. Number 7. Don't stand still. Standing still in this game is just about the number one way to get yourself killed. Try and keep yourself moving as much as possible. Get used to moving even when you're looting, because as soon as you go still, it makes it incredibly easy for someone to headshot you and one-shot kill you. It's generally wise to remain stationary when you are firing at people, but try and move in between shots to make it difficult for people to hit you back. Number 8. Don't hide in the grass. Whilst hiding in bushes and in buildings can sometimes be effective, hiding in grass is usually not. This is because the rendering distance on the grass is fairly short, so even though it may look like you are laying down prone in some luscious vegetation, to anyone more than 75 meters away or so, there is likely no grass shown to them at all, and you are just laying down completely in the open. Number 9. If in doubt, use the vertical grip. Weapon attachments can be pretty confusing at first, and you can look at their individual characteristics in your inventory if you want to do a bit of a deep dive. But a good rule of thumb when first starting out is that the vertical grip is going to be generally the best grip to use for most guns. They all have their uses, and as you learn the game more, you can play around with them, but it's hard to go far wrong with the VERT grip, whether that's for full auto spraying with an AR or for single tapping with your DMR. Number 10. Default firing modes. A really nice feature that came into the game a year or two ago is the option to set your default firing mode for each type of gun. By going into your gameplay settings, you can set these so that, for example, whenever you pick up an AR, it's always on full auto mode by default rather than on single fire or burst. This is a super useful setting, and I would really recommend quickly setting it up before you play. Number 11. Automatic equip settings. This is another really handy quality of life feature that you can find in gameplay settings. Since managing your inventory can be quite time consuming with a controller, especially when you're new to the game, these settings really help take some of the stress out. You can set it so that when you pick up an attachment or a scope, it will automatically put them onto available slots in the guns in your inventory. You can also set it so that when you put down a gun to switch it with a new one, all of the attachments will automatically get switched to the gun that you're picking up. This is a huge time saver and definitely worth turning on. It's also worth noting that the auto reload setting is available here, and I would recommend turning that on to speed up your reload times. Number 12. Tracking your stats. If you want to track your PUBG stats, then the go-to site that we use is PUBGlookup.com. It's a great site for looking at information on all the games you play, including kill and death info, 2D replays of full matches, and details of how many bots, Xbox or PlayStation players were in each of your games. We aren't sponsored or affiliated with PUBG Lookup in any way, we just think it's a great site that you will likely find very useful if you're playing PUBG. So those are my 12 essential bits of knowledge for new PUBG players on console, and I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to anyone trying it for the very first time when it's free on PS Plus this month. If you'd like to find some new people to play with, then I'd recommend joining our Discord server, where we've got a big community there, and also coming along to our Twitch stream on Fridays when we play custom games with our viewers. I'll put all the links down in the video description below. Hopefully you found some of this advice useful. If you did, then please consider subscribing to the channel on YouTube, as we put out loads of new PUBG console videos every single week. And if you want to see more PUBG tips videos like this one, then drop a like down below to let me know. We already have a load of tips and guide videos for PUBG already on YouTube, so check out the playlist of those that I've linked down in the description. So that's all for today. Good luck on getting your first chicken dinner, and I will see you next time.